Go now.
Okay. So the teas are made for the family first, the village next. Like, it's a community product. It really is. And exporting last. And America being one of the lowest tea drinking countries, you know, we're really not thought of. I mean, there's very few teas brewed for Americans.
Unless we count Lipton.
Unless we count Lipton, which we don't, because Lipton is actually brewed for England.
I know. I'm just joking.
Though, fun fact about tea and commercial industry. Twinings, this is the type of tea that you can get at Canopy Road and whatnot. Twinings is the oldest logo and brand in use today. They're the only brand that has lasted from basically the 1600s to today. They still use the same brand, the same logo. Okay, so I poured the hot water in here. White tea, 2 to 3 minutes. We're going to watch for about a 2.5 minute mark, because remember, we don't want to be on the bottom end of that, and we don't want to be on the top end of that. So I poured it in at 9:08, at 9:10. I'm going to remove the leaves, because you don't want to leave the leaves in, because that will create a bitter cup. Now when we're serving these, except for the flights, we want to provide the leaves to the customer, because again, you can rebrew leaves 2 or 3 times before essentially all you're doing is drinking hot water. So there's enough stuff in the leaves to rebrew a few times.
So they will come back up to us and we will give them more hot water and not charge them anything additional.
Okay, so if they have this teapot, they can say, okay, well, I want,
Yeah, could I get some more hot water, please?
Okay.
Yeah, and we will offer that, and that will be a thing.
So yes, somebody could order that pot of tea and just sit there all day, and we would be cool with that.
Yeah. Okay.
We're perfectly okay
I'm
with that.
somebody who likes to brew leaves again.
Honestly, I suggest brewing leaves again.
At least once.
At least once, because unlike coffee, where you run the water through the first time and you're pulling everything you can out of that, and any subsequent runnings, all you're getting is grossness. Tea does give you new things on that second brew.
Alright, I finished cutting that.
Like, because it has some flavors. The first brewing is going to give you a bunch of good stuff.
If you're
and
having
it's going to have
fun,
certain
you're not.
flavors that are
I think I'll
cool.
rest a bit. Okay.
And so you're going to drink it and be like, oh, pepperminty. You know, that sort of thing. The second brewing may not have as much of that peppermint
Do you want me to
forward
sort them into the
because
thing?
you've pulled it off faster.
No?
So
Where do you want
the
them?
second brewing may have some underlying flavor that existed in the first brewing, but you may not have noticed because it had a more dominant first flavor.
Now, this doesn't apply to herbals. Herbals are really only good the first steep. Like straight herbals.
Most of them, yeah. This is tea leaves. So.
Well, actually, it's only been, it's not even 2 minutes yet.
Timer?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you say 202?
And I just showed it to you.
Excuse me.
I said it's been 9:10 for a while.
Oh, okay. Maybe I put it in at 9:08 for a while. Anyway, so as you can see, you don't actually have to be in a major rush once you hit that 2 minute mark, because you have until 3 minutes.
Now it's 2:30.
This is hot. Use a spoon to help you grip it. There will be a bar spoon that will be available. Use it to help you grip it, because this is hot. And you set this aside, and you have tea. And so we're going to pour ourselves some tea. And I'm going to teach you how to cup tea.
We're going to have a little saucer when we serve it to put the...
Yes, the tea itself will have a saucer. I may have poured myself too much. I
It's good tea. It's good. Surprised at how light tolerance.
Okay, I was up.
Just steal some of your.
Yeah, white tea is, no, Stephanie, I poured you your own cup, I think. We're about to find out. No, I didn't. You're going to serve them after the meeting. This goes to Mom.
Thank you.
This goes to Becca. This goes over here.
You don't see it, Danny?
You don't like that?
You're not even supposed to be here still. I'm kidding. What?
Wow!
I'm kidding, Scott. I'm kidding.
Here, you can have some of mine already.
No,
I'll share with him.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about cupping. Okay. The first part about cupping is looking at it. Checking out that color. White tea is supposed to be light, airy. It is the most delicate of teas. So its color should be the most delicate of colors. Then, just like with coffee, you're going to smell it. You're going to prepare yourself for what you're about to taste. Smell, Becca wasn't here when I said this earlier, or the other day. Smell is 80% of your taste. So, the smelling of whatever you're tasting, be it food, coffee, or tea, is quite important. And then you're going to slurp it. Get that spray. Go ahead, make the noise. You're going to spray. If you don't like it, it's fine. Stop doing it.
No, I'm not supposed to be here.
Use this beer.
You're the most important person in the room.
So, yeah. And that's basically how you cup tea. And cupping tea, especially in Asia, is quite important. They have competitions for it, and it's this huge deal. And cuppers, judges, that cup tea and judge tea are regarded in much the same fashion as pageant judges, or like it's a big deal. Like these are honored people in your society.
Not everyone can be a tea taster.
Right, not everybody can be a tea taster. There's actually, I want to say, I know there's one in China, and I want to say there's one in Taiwan. There's actually tea university, where you go to learn how to cup tea, to learn how to brew tea, to learn how to grow tea. Tea university. You can get a degree in tea.
Well, you can get a degree in wine.
You can.
You can get a degree in wine from San Diego.
Yeah. You can get
Oh, really? That's cool. I should do that. Anyway,
I thought it might be beer as well, but yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah. So yeah, there's entire universities made for tea in the geek. It's a pretty big deal. Yeah.
We're wine.
This is an American attitude. Like, I'm not surprised at all. It's a pretty big deal. I'm going to brew a second brewing of this to show you guys some of the differences.
What would you pair this with?
Yeah?
Food, yeah.
Cranberry.
Want me to go?
White. Just in general, a white tea.
Well, tea's a little more difficult to say green teas always go with this or white teas always go with that because there is so much different flavors. Like the strawberry white that we had in cold brew, that we still have a little bit of, but the strawberry white that we had in cold brew, that's a white tea. You'll notice the difference between it and this. Massive. So I'm not going to tell you that because of the white tea, pair it with this or pair it with that.
However, I feel comfortable saying because it's a white tea, don't pair it with really strong, dark flavors because you'll overpower it. White tea probably doesn't go with chocolate. If somebody's asking your opinion, you want to go on the lighter, fruitier end of the spectrum, go with lemon, go with...
Something maybe a little more acidic.
Yeah.
Particularly
Going
with
nicely with this.
Maybe like
Joining us.
maybe like scones. Yeah.
That's cranberries.
So if we were at the bar and then people asked, oh, what can I have my white tea with? And I would recommend a lemon bar.
A lemon bar would be pretty fantastic for most white teas.
Or do we have any other tangy, zesty sweets?
We have a lemon poppy seed muffin. That one's a little bit tricky because you've got the butter masking some of the fruitiness. But then we have, in springtime, we'll have lemon madeleines and lemon icebox cakes, and those would both be good with this. And
Yeah, with this.
I might do, actually, I may have lied, white chocolate would go really well with white tea. Dark
Yeah.
chocolate, not so much with that. Our cranberry white chocolate tart might be really good with this.
With this tea, I would probably focus a little on some fruitier flavors. I'm probably going to say a lot about a lot of herbal teas too, but again, I'm not going to tell you that just because it's a white tea, it will pair. Like, I can tell you just because it's a French roast or a dark roast, it'll pair with something chocolatey. Like, I can tell you that. I can be 95% positive on that. I can't do that with tea. It has more variety to it. But with white tea especially, and a little bit with green tea, I would stay aware of the oils and the things you're pairing it with. If you're going to eat something that for the most part blows out your taste buds, or that is oily and will cover your taste buds, chances are you're going to miss some of the delicateness in the tea. And it's just going to be hot water.
Yeah, remember, butter's an oil, so if something's really buttery, it can dampen some of the flavors.
And it'll be hot water. And then because you thought you were drinking tea, hot water becomes hot leaf juice. And like an instant flat, it's bad.
Interesting aside, if I may, when I worked at the bank, the lady who sat next to me was from Thailand, and anytime she ate something sweet, she would immediately go to the kitchen and get herself a cup of plain hot water. And that's what she would drink to try to cut the fat or the sugar in her stomach and on her tongue. Or in it.
It makes sense at the time. I don't know about the science of the stomach, but it makes sense at the time. But yeah. Yeah, hot water. Basically, hot water can be used to clean the palate. Water can be used to clean the palate for the most part, but hot water will definitely cut through anything. That's why it cleans dishes.
Yeah.
Because it cuts through cuts through things. It will do the same thing to your mouth that it does to those dishes.
Which is to say, if somebody comes up and orders a white tea and a chocolate tart, you don't look at them and say, you shouldn't get those together.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, did you put it back in there?
I'm about to brew a second batch.
Oh yeah, there's no water. Okay. Yeah.
There's no water right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no water right now. But I am about to brew a second batching because I want you to see how interesting it is to have the second go. I don't usually suggest the third go if you probably handle it. But I do usually say that tea can be brewed twice.
That was what I've heard before is that the more darker teas, like as you go down the spectrum, like from the white, you only really want to do 1 or 2, but like the black you can do 3 or something like that.
There's a little bit of truth in that, but not a lot and not enough to count on. Here's the reality. We're using the same leaf, right? With the black tea or the white tea or that sort of thing. We're using the same leaf. And so essentially, the water is interacting with the leaf the same. Now, white teas, black teas, most of these, unless it's just straight tea, like the gunpowder we're going to try next, unless it's just straight tea, it's usually mixed with some sort of other herb of some variety. This winter white is a chai, so it has a little bit of cardamom, it has a little bit of like star anise. It's a good tea. But it doesn't have, okay, chais usually have cinnamon. This doesn't. Why? Cinnamon would blow out the white chai. You wouldn't taste the white leaves.
One of the things it does have though is pink peppercorns, doesn't it?
Right, it has pink peppercorns because those are a smaller, a lighter flavor. So there's often things tied with it. And the water doesn't always interact with the things tied with it the exact same. Star anise, like a ball of cloves or a ball of spices, you know this, you're a cook. A ball of spices doesn't absorb water the same way. The water chips away at it differently. Like, have you ever bitten into a peppercorn while eating like fettuccine? You know, you've got the pepper and you're eating it, and suddenly you spice bomb yourself. Generally speaking, in tea we use whole spices. So, there's more core spices and there's less core spices, and these things interact differently. Okay, so the water interacts differently, but it affects the tea leaves the same. I still wouldn't take a black tea and run it 3 or 4 times. I wouldn't suggest running it 3 or 4 times. Have I done it? Yes. I wouldn't suggest running it 3 or 4 times because the tea isn't the same. And when you're getting into the tea leaves, just like with coffee beans, when you're getting into the tea leaves, so this first rinsing we do, we're getting a lot of caffeine.
Okay.
This first rinsing is the most
2:30.
caffeine. This first rinsing we do, we're getting into a lot of caffeine. It's the most caffeine. It's the most caffeinated rinsing we're doing. The second rinsing we're doing, we're probably getting a few more of the flavors that are in there instead of just straight caffeine. The third rinsing we're going to be doing is going to start touching into the bitterness of the leaf. And that's any tea. So especially like with black teas, the things that it's often paired with, it's often paired to be a little more bitter. Like Earl Grey, like black teas in general are English teas, and they're made to go with milk because that's what the English do to it. So they're made to be a little bit more bitter because milk's sweeter.
So they make great tea lattes.
So they make great tea lattes. But a tea latte is just like a latte with coffee, except instead of coffee, we brew some tea, we add it to the milk, and we make that into the latte. Or we would actually prefer to brew the tea in the milk. You can't do that with a tea bag as easily because the milk clogs the tea bag. But because we're not using tea bags, we can do it that way. But yeah, you brew it, you steam up milk and you brew the tea in the milk.
Did we do tea lattes?
We are going to do tea lattes.
Okay. I want to try that. Because
Okay.
I have like English tea, and I noticed that other boxes with like add milk.
Yeah, sometimes they do. Yeah, I'll let you try that. It's because some of the tea was kind of designed that way. So let me know when you cut something so you can try to set and go.
Okay.
So once you start touching into that extra tea, once you start touching into that extra bitterness in the tea leaf, you're really looking at a much more bitter brew on that third go. So I still wouldn't suggest it. Will it hold up to it? To some people. I mean, you've seen how Dad works. Dad'll take his tea leaves, his Lipton tea leaves, and he'll leave them in there for upwards of 20 minutes.
That's really enough.
And half a glass for me, half a cup.
Yeah. I don't really want full cup.
But yeah, he'll do it upwards of 20 minutes.
That you can give me some of
And,
yours.
Like, that's 4 times how long it's supposed to go.
Like at its max.
At its max.
And something for you guys to know, it doesn't apply so much to work, But if you go home and you're like, oh, I've got a tea bag with black tea in it, I'll steep it for 5 minutes. Tea bags have a lot of what the industry calls fines, and the leaves are cut up super small. So yes, the box will say still brew for 3 to 5 minutes, but you will get an oversteeped, very bitter cup of tea doing it this way because,
It's basically tea bags.
yeah. This one came out
I go
dark.
by color with the tea bag. I'm like, that color usually tastes good.
Colors are very good indicator, and in fact, we're going to look at this color here. It's darker.
Yeah, definitely darker.
Definitely darker. It's the second brewing. It's definitely darker.
Yeah, we've gone from lighter than butter to clarified butter.
And it's less delicate, but it's still good. I like it.
The darker the color, generally speaking, the stronger the tea. Are you okay? Okay. The darker the color, generally speaking, the stronger the tea. And the more bitter, honestly. So white teas are supposed to be really light. They're supposed to have light color. They're supposed to be a little bit sweet, maybe even, but definitely not bitter. And they come out with this lighter than butter sort of look. So then when we've done our second brewing, this is a stronger cup as far as flavor goes. So you'll notice the flavors are different.
Yeah.
Because it's a stronger cup as far as flavor goes. And it's darker color, probably started to tap that bitterness a little bit, maybe even.
Yeah,
It does have hints of much bitter than the first cup.
Yeah. So color is a great indicator when you're working with tea. If a tea looks darker than you're used to, get rid of it, it's bad cup.
Is there anything we can do in the brewing technique on the second brew to try to minimize some of the differences between the first and the second?
You can brew it for less time.
Theoretically, you could brew it for less time. With the Gaiwan, okay, so the Gaiwan is a method developed to work with second brewing and to see how a tea handles second brewings.
And third and fourth and fifth.
And third and fourth and fifth and things. So the first tea does 30 seconds. The second brewing, 20, 10, 10, it's as quick as you can get it. Because that's how they attempt to balance out that.
Of course, there are some methods that do the total opposite, which is just bizarre.
Right. So you could brew it for less time. But for ease's sake, I would just leave it be.
But I guess it might be that because in the same way that you pre-bloom the tea for the cold brew, these leaves have already
Been bloomed, right.
when you add the hot water, so you're getting a different effect on the second brew anyway.
Exactly. That plays a major
That's
effect into it. Because
I love this tea though. My current favorite.
The winter white chai. The pink peppercorn, it goes away in the second steeping, but it's my favorite part.
I don't feel like that though.
really good tea.
Looks like potpourri, but really good potpourri.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good tea.
Is this one
What are
mine?
we charging for a sharing
The
pot
Corbella?
of this?
$5 for
$5.
our sharing pots of everything.
That's
Not bad.
That's plenty of tea that you're getting for $5.
Yeah. I would
Yeah,
do
a special note for you guys. One of the few secrets we're keeping from our customers, but a special note for you guys is that we have basically branched the teas into expensive and cheap teas. Now we're charging the same price for everything, because it just looks better to a community. It looks better. Like if you come in someplace and you see one tea is $2 and one tea is $4, which tea do you buy?
The one with $4.
Well, if I have
Depends
$4.
on
If
where
I have
It depends.
$4, I might go ahead.
Yeah, it depends upon where you're at. You assume the tea with 4 is the better tea. You're not always right. But especially if you're on a budget, you buy the cheaper one, and the point is that one of those teas gets bought less. And we're not looking for that. We're looking for kind of a by the flavor because of any of the distribution. So we're charging the same price for all of our teas. However, that being said, our Maya teas and our Kalisha teas are about half the cost of our cultivar teas and our Tabella teas.
Now, when it comes to our hot teas, this doesn't affect us at all. We just get more profit on those. When it comes to the iced teas, our profit margins are actually shallow enough that when we do our cold brew, we'll only be using the Kalisha and the Maya. And if somebody orders an iced tea off of the other ones, that's fine, we'll do it. But
But we're not cold brewing those.
yeah, we're not trying to sell those.
Yeah, we're only cold brewing the cheap teas. But they don't. It's not that the cheap teas that they taste good. Like this is my.
Yeah.
So I went to a hookah and tea bar. I think it's called Aladdin's, I think it's before.
I've heard of them.
I don't remember where it's at exactly.
I think I found them well.
It is a chocolate mellow.
They had a peach black tea that me and my friend had at Sharon Auto. It was like $11.
Wow.
Ouch.
That's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And see teas. Oh, I lied. We do have some rolled tea. Anyways, tea's a nice drink because for the most part it is kind of cheap. Honestly.
Well, if we moved
Especially in
into-
Asia.
We moved into Frenchtown and charged $11 for a pot of tea.
They'd laugh us out.
We'd be gentrifying.
Yeah, they'd laugh us out. We wouldn't.
Be tacky as
So,
crap.
And it was literally, it wasn't even a specialty bar or anything. It was one of those coffee pots you see at Waffle House.
Oh no.
Well, I hope it was delicious.
It was actually really peachy
Oh,
and good,
good.
but not $11.
Yeah.
The price was not so sweet.
Like my friend was paying for it, I was like, I think I'm okay with just like water.
yeah, and
She's
see,
like,
we're also attempting to. We're also attempting as a business to avoid that.
Yeah.
Uh,
The hesitation over price.
There's a few items that no matter what we did in order to carry the item, they're going to be a little bit pricey. In the hot chocolate's a little bit pricey for what it is.
The eggnog latte is a little
Eggnog
pricey.
latte, yeah, the eggnog latte is going to be $6.
Is that gonna be year round or just seasonal?
We're starting with it seasonally because I'm actually making the eggnog from scratch, and then we're subbing half of the
Eggnog latte.
We're subbing half of the milk for eggnog when we foam the milk,
Yeah.
and so it's a little difficult to keep that year round.
Yeah.
So it's starting seasonal, but we may do a Christmas in July event where we bring all our seasonals back for a week in July or something.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be
Like, you know, like some cafes or something, like smaller businesses, they have like what would you like to see more of, or what's your favorite drink? Like, are y'all gonna like have little things out there where people can like tell y'all what they
like a
really like? You know what I mean?
table.
I don't know if we've discussed having a suggestion box. We'll definitely have to consider that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we thought about it. We definitely want to be open to our community. We want to be open to hearing the ideas of our community, and we want to let them feel like they're heard.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the type of place that, oh well, we were considering it, la 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 la
Yeah,
la.
whatever.
We were thinking about buying a high chair.
Yeah.
In the future.
It's gonna
Oh,
even.
Just so you know, when you first said it. Anyways,
Yeah.
just so you know, hard jokes here. And we don't want to be, and we don't want to, make them feel like we're like, oh no, well, you're the customer. Like we're not playing that game. We want to be a part of the community, and in order to do that, we need to know what the community is going to place.
Yeah. If
So
somebody comes in every day in December and orders an eggnog latte.
I will. If it keeps it year round.
And we might, corner Stephanie in the back and go, listen,
Look, we need our eggnog latte tomorrow. You're still gonna make it, right?
January 1st.
Well, it's going through February.
Seasonal. Yeah, seasonal. Our seasons are not based on holidays.
Right.
And they're not based on weather because Florida.
Yeah, they're not really based on weather. Yeah, and they're not based on weather because
Aren't
Florida.
they based on the seasonal availability of the vegetables?
Yeah,
Little bit.
That's what I
They're
was
literally
thinking.
based on the seasonal availabilities of the vegetables. It's harvest seasonal, is what it
Yeah.
is. So
That's what makes sense.
So despite Florida's insistence on 1.5 seasons, we will have 4 seasonals that will last approximately 3 months long each.
Okay.
And yeah, we're not going to do Christmas season or Easter season. We will
Winter,
switch,
spring, fall, and summer.
yeah, we will switch some things up for upcoming holidays. Like we're talking about an event for Valentine's Day. We'll key you in on that later. But we're talking about an event for Valentine's Day, and we've been talking about different pastries for Valentine's Day. But that'll be like a 2-week run, when we're doing pastries or something like that. Like it'll be coming up close,
Hey,
hitting the
Alex,
date, and then moving
Are y'all
on.
still drinking the white chai,
I
or
have the white chai right here.
no? I just was because I found one of those and I was going to pass the tasting note around for it.
Go ahead, pass it on.
Let me just peel the other paper off.
But no, we were getting ready to move on to greens, which are the gunpowder.
Yeah, gunpowder.
All right, I'll find that one too.
Does it smell like gunpowder?
I'm cutting one of
It
those
does
right now.
not. In fact, I don't know why it's called gunpowder.
Appearance.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Appearance?
Yes.
Just like
The way it
Well, then if it's appearance, let's take a look at it.
Exotic.
It's a rolled,
Yeah, it does.
yeah, it's a rolled leaf, and it's supposed to be, I don't know if I've tried gunpowder, but it's supposed to be a strong green. Okay, so our Kakicha is supposed to be kind of a delicate green. Our gunpowder is supposed to be a bit more
Okay.
punitive.
I was just seeing if I had one already.
And for a green, that's kind of a claim. So,
That's the one
get
you're
ready for
talking
that.
about?
Yeah, for a green, that's kind of a claim.
Oh, that's strong.
Yeah, it's supposed to be more of a tea. Now this has no flavorings to it.
This is straight up green tea.
This is straight up green tea. It may remind you of hot leaf juice because essentially
I like grassy juice though.
that's what it is.
It's like going outside.
I now have leaves. I'm about to heat them up. So essentially, it is hot leaf juice, but it's going to be flavorful hot leaf juice, like high quality leaves. Okay.
And-
Let's take lawn trimmings and
And after you guys do your first taste of it, I'm gonna give you guys the tasting notes. Like after you guys
You said
taste
these
it.
will be at the bottom of the guy one, right?
No.
Those will be at the bottom of the. So our flights are going to be. Those will be. We have a cool.
Oh, where they.
It's in a
store
cup.
it?
Yeah. For our storage. For our,
With little holes drilled out for the cups to sit in, and those will fit in the bottom of the hole, so when somebody orders them, you can line those up, and then line up your gaiwans, and then you can,
and then they will know what they're drinking when they're
and
drinking.
you'll know what you're putting where.
You'll know what. You'll know what you're putting where, what they're drinking when they're drinking it. Like in a beer flight. So in a beer. Except class here. In a beer flight,
This is more like when we line up the.
when you properly line up a beer flight, you're supposed to line it up based on what's going to kill your taste buds.
There it is, yeah.
Okay, so supposedly you're lining up the lightest beer to the darkest beer, because supposedly that's how it works. Now that's not always the truth. And a lot of places you go to, I've noticed, are not the best at keeping track of this. But supposedly you're supposed to line it up based on what kills your taste buds. So, for example, an American Pale Ale
Hold on to this until
is usually a very drinkable kind of light beer. Okay, but a hot bomb IPA is going to blow your taste buds everywhere. So if or stout is going to also
Because a stout is a really oily, heavy beer, so it coats your palate.
So-
It makes it
So
hard
it's also
to.
going to kind of blow your taste buds, but a porter is going to blow your taste buds more. So if I had these 4 beers, the way I'm supposed to stack it is the APA, the IPA, the stout, the porter. Okay. With the teas, we're going to try to figure that out as well. Basically, on your most left-hand side, because people drink like this, so basically, on what you expect to be the customer's most left-hand side, now it's going to be a boomerang. So what I expect to be the customer's left-hand side is here.
They're left-handed,
It's
you're
the
back.
boomerang. It's the boomerang concave. Point of view. Yeah, if they're left. If you've noticed that the customer is left-handed, you build the flight backwards because they're going to drink it backwards.
Or forwards for them.
Or forward.
It's the same place, Alice.
Now you've got me confused.
Or you can give them a hint. You can say, you should start with the lightest and go to the darkest.
You should kind of instruct them as gently as possible on how to drink it.
I know in beer that even that is like just guidelines, but they can be broken.
Right. And I mean, they're not always going to listen to you. But the way we're going to set it up, we're going to set it up whites to greens to oolongs to blacks.
Okay, pause.
If you have